Polar bear. There's a moment that happens over and over across the Arctic, and it looks almost nothing like hunting. A bear stands over a single hole in the ice, completely still, sometimes for hours, waiting for a seal to surface for air. That patience only works because of what's happening underneath the fur, skin black as coal, soaking up sunlight, while each strand of that white fur is actually hollow, funneling heat down to the body like 1,000 tiny pipes. It's what lets something that size stand on ice at -40 without freezing solid. The problem is the ice itself. No platform, no waiting spot, and that whole strategy collapses into just swimming, sometimes for days, toward land that isn't guaranteed to be there. Arctic fox. Most animals start shaking long before things get dangerous. This one doesn't even flinch until -70. It doesn't dig deep, doesn't sleep the winter away. It just curls into a ball, tail over its nose, and lets a coat dense enough to trap warm air do the rest. Even its paws are fur-wrapped, so it can walk across ice without losing heat where its feet touch down. And somehow, this same animal turns brown come summer, matching rock instead of snow, then switches back months later like it's following a calendar nobody gave it. Barely bigger than a house cat, in one of the harshest places on the planet. Narwhal. For a while, people just made things up. Sailors sold the tusk as a unicorn horn, ground it into powder, sold that too, claimed it cured poison. What it actually is, one tooth, usually the left canine, spiraling out through the lip and stretching up to 3 meters. Everyone assumed it was for fighting, males clashing like stags. Maybe sometimes. But the tusk is porous, packed with nerve endings wired straight into the ocean, which means it might actually be reading the water. Temperature, pressure, salt. A sensor built into a face. And this animal dives 1,500 meters down, in total darkness, holding its breath for 25 minutes, using that tusk for something we still can't fully explain. Snowy owl. Ask most people when owls hunt, and they'll say night, every time. Not this one. Up in the Arctic, summer means weeks of daylight that never really ends, so a snowy owl waiting for dark would just starve. It hunts whenever it needs to. What matters more is the silence. Feathers edged like a soft comb, breaking up the sound of air moving, so a lemming 20 meters below never hears it coming. One owl eats over 1,600 lemmings a year, and if lemmings are scarce that season, some pairs just don't bother nesting at all. All that power, that 2-meter wingspan, riding on how many rodents happen to be around. Arctic wolf. 10 musk oxen, 1 wolf pack, and the oxen already know the move. Circle up, calves in the middle, horns facing out like a wall nobody can get through. A lone wolf has no shot against that, so the pack circles too, testing the wall, watching for one animal to break formation, sometimes waiting hours for a single gap. These wolves haven't crossed paths with other wolf populations in thousands of years, isolated across the Canadian Arctic and Greenland, which is partly why their ears are smaller and tighter to the skull than a normal wolf's, less surface area for the cold to grab onto. For weeks at a time, this entire standoff happens in total darkness, no sun at all. Walrus. Those meter-long tusks aren't for digging, which is what almost everyone assumes. They're for hauling a body the size of a small car out of the water and onto ice. Ice picks, basically. And for settling arguments between males. The digging happens somewhere else entirely, a snout covered in hundreds of thick whiskers, dragged along a pitch-dark seafloor, feeling for clams by shape alone. No light down there, no need for it. A walrus can also slow its own heartbeat on command, stretching a single dive past half an hour.